It's been a great year for rock music. It honestly has. And it's also been a great year here at Rock Feed. I want to tell you how much I appreciate those of you that tune in and day out. You are appreciated so much, and you are literally making my dreams come true. Now, I'm really optimistic about the state of rock music right now, more than I have been in quite some time. That's because of bands like Falling in Reverse, frontmen like Ronnie Radke, people that are entertaining, engaging. They're willing to stir the pot. They're willing to put themselves out there to take creative risks. This is a band that's seen explosive growth in 2023. Not to mention other bands like Sleep Token, bands like Bad Omens, a lot of groups that are showing signs of exponential growth. Slaughter to Prevail, where is that band going to be in the near future? I predict very big things for them as well, and they got a huge boost by being brought out on tour by Falling in Reverse. That's how influential Ronnie and Falling are right now. Ronnie is not a person afraid to speak his mind. I've said this many times. You get it by now. But last night, Ronnie was on stage. The band was playing their final performance of the year at a radio show, and he blasted this concert venue. And if what he's saying is true, and I have no reason to doubt him, it does not look good on the concert venue. This is a hot button issue that there's been a lot of discussion about, and there's a lot of changes that I think are going to happen for reasons I'm going to mention shortly. But first, I just want to give you a little bit of a rundown of the type of numbers Falling in Reverse did this year, because I think there are a lot of people that get agitated with Ronnie sometimes. You don't have to agree with what the guy says all the time. That's fine. But one of the things that people that are detractors of his say is he has to talk shit to remain relevant, or he'll go online and stir the pot. He really hasn't even been saying much on social media in the last couple of months. But regardless of that, if you take social media out of it, these are the streams he's doing on Spotify. There's no posts on Spotify. There's no posts on Apple Music. These are the numbers. I got these directly from his people. Global streams total in 2023, 1.5 billion. That is insane. Watch the World Burn, 287 million streams since back in January. The cover of Last Resort Reimagined, 70 million streams since June of 2023, averaging 129 million streams per month. That's worth celebrating. That's worth getting excited about. We need bands that fans are passionate about seeing live. And so if you run a venue, I think that you would be excited to have a band with the kind of hype that Falling in Reverse has coming to your establishment. And I would imagine that you wouldn't put stipulations in that might be something that would make them not want to come back in the future. And that is the problem that venues are going to face going forward, where they have little leverage with bands that are growing exponentially, that are bringing the crowds in, that are buying the alcohol, that are basically helping venues keep their lights on. What are we talking about here? We're talking about merch cuts. This is something Live Nation has been rolling back at their mid-size venues. When you're behind Live Nation on things like merch cuts, I know there's a lot of good people who are at Live Nation, but this is a business that is known for being pretty aggressive. And so when you're behind Live Nation on these kind of things, you got to kind of reevaluate what you're doing. So Ronnie was having none of this. He says that they were trying to take 25% of their gross merch. How do you justify that? How do you justify that when you're not participating in the cost to produce the goods? You show up and say, give us 25%. Are you sharing the alcohol sales with the bands? I bet you're not. Some venues do. Some venues will do things like, I go to some venues where they'll give proceeds from the tips at alcohol booths to charities and stuff. So I don't know what they do here, but I'm assuming in most cases that's not what's going on. But I don't think people are going to come back and want to play venues when you're taking a 25% cut of their sales of merch. But Ronnie had a hilarious response to this, and I'm going to read what he said, because his solution was just not to play the game. And I think the more bands that do this, I don't know Ronnie's financial situation, but I'm sure that he is very solid with money. So he was able to say, you know what, fuck it. We're just not going to sell merch. This is exactly what he said, though. But that's not all. He also called them out from the stage, and I'm gonna play that for you as well. But first, here's what he said on X. So first of all, they were playing at the 93X radio, Nutcracker. Want to shout them out. They had nothing to do with this. We love our rock radio stations out there carrying the flag for rock music. So shout out to 93X for that. They have nothing to do with those decisions. They do not determine those decisions. Nutcracker was an amazing show with Daughtry. I'll do it again next year if they want. Amazing radio station, and I'm grateful for the support. And again, y'all got to support those local rock radio stations. They are very supportive of these bands, and we love them. Last night, I refused to sell Falling in Reverse merch in the venue we were playing in because the venue demanded I pay 25% of gross sales to them. So I told them to go fuck themselves, and I just didn't sell merch because it didn't sit right with me to upcharge the fans $100 a hoodie because the greedy venue thinks 25% of gross merch sales from a band is okay. For your information, these venues taking a merch cut is criminal. There's no reason or excuse for venues to take bands' merch percent. They do it because we let them get away with it. It's literally stealing. There's not a single reason these venues have that makes this okay. So to anyone out there ever wondering why merch is so expensive, it's because these venues are stealing from the artist. Last night I told them to go fuck themselves on stage, and if any of you bands play this venue, I'd advise you to do the same. The only way this bullshit is gonna change is if all bands stand together and F their bottom lineup. Streaming takes our money, the venue takes our money, the artist gets destroyed and disrespected by these greedy Fs. So one more time, fuck Armory in Minneapolis, but thank you to the fans for the huge show and the radio station. And I'm sorry we couldn't sell our merch. And if you want some of that merch, you can of course go to their official website. I know Falling has merch there. But I agree with him when he says that the only way to make this right is to just not play their game. And I think there are ways. I've heard of some bands, Ronnie actually shared this, I've heard of some bands doing pre-sales for their tours, and you're kind of just picking up the merch that you've already paid for. But really it comes down to the terms. Hey, if you guys want to keep doing this, we're just not going to play your venue. And then what? These venues have to book bands. It's very unpopular when you're doing merch cuts. Now, I've reached out to this venue to give them the opportunity to respond. If they do so, of course, I will share their response with you. I'm sorry I'm ranting about this. I'm just very passionate. And so this is what Ronnie had to say on stage last night, calling out this venue.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you guys something right now. Bands usually don't play shows in December for a reason. But let me tell you something. 93X radio station is the reason for this fucking show, so you're welcome. Thank you, motherfuckers. This radio station has played our music, helped my band get bigger, helped everything. People don't
Support your local rock radio station.
And how it helps people's careers. And I've always known that as a little kid listening to radio. I just want to say thank you to 93X. Thank you so much for fucking playing my music. Are you serious? I want to be a radio band. That's fucking awesome. Thank you, Reals. And another thing before we go on, if you haven't noticed that there is none of our merch in the back, and I want to let you guys know something. It has nothing to do with the radio station. It has to do with this venue. This venue is trying to charge us 25% of our fees. We had to pay this venue.
You hear the crowd?
Hold on. So what that would mean is we would have to charge you guys way more to even make any money. So what I did was, fuck them. Fuck that. Fuck them. I'm not paying you guys fucking shit. That's fucked up. If you guys want our t-shirts, you can go online and pick them up. We'll probably lose a little bit of money from doing this. But I ain't doing that shit. I'm not selling my merch to give 25% to this fucking venue. Fuck you guys. Fuck this fucking venue. Fuck you. And I'll say it to your fucking face, too. It's fucked up. They take our streaming money. They take everything. And now they're taking it, they're taking it out of your pockets. You guys got to spend $100 on a hoodie. It's fucked up. And that's the reason. It's because these fucking venues like this. So, I'm sorry, guys. I promise you, why wouldn't we sell merch? You know what I mean? With that said, I just want to thank everybody in here for streaming all of our fucking music on Spotify, on YouTube. Are you fucking serious? Dude, the YouTube views, this is rock music. Rock was supposed to be dead. Rock is not fucking dead.
I'm getting pumped.
And I love it. So thank you guys from the bottom of our hearts. We're living our dream because of you guys. I mean that with every ounce of my soul, of my spirit. Thank you so much. This is awesome. With that said,
I don't see how that's sustainable because it's such a pressure point with bands. They resent this stuff. So the more bands that stand up and speak out, and a lot of them are, the less this stuff kind of happens. So kudos to Ronnie there, folks. Let me know what you think in the comments. As always, if you're new here, hit that subscribe button and vote for Rockfeed Nick Nocturnal Awards 2023 Best Metal News Source. Thank you all so much.